Okay, hey guys, welcome back to the Afghan Answer, episode 9.
Hey! Oh my god, we're 9 episodes in.
I know. And like you said last week, as you requested, I've got a list
A
of
list
topics
I can see.
for you to see as well.
Yeah,
with me.
interesting.
And we've got a lot of topics to talk about.
Yeah, man.
Some of them which are unfortunate circumstances, but at least it gives us content to talk about.
Yeah, man. The world is shite. Absolutely shite!
And thank you for listening. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, we start off with the story of Dominic Cummings. Can you explain
That
it? Because
guy,
I can't explain it.
basically
If
an
anyone doesn't
MP, a cabinet, what is it, an advisor to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, he's
essentially broke the lockdown rules.
for his
and
kids.
he says it's for his kids, but he also said he needed to have an eye test.
Huh?
Yeah. He said he had
He's making up excuses now. More
yeah.
excuses.
No, first he said,
for his kids.
he wanted to take his kid and his wife, who apparently were getting symptoms, to a different place and drive literally cross-country. Okay.
260 miles.
We can almost allow this. It's still side-eyeing the exaggerations, but whatever. But on top of that, he said he needed to have an eye test up there. Or he did some drive or something.
In Durham.
Durham.
I was reading it off my paper.
Durham. It's okay. Okay.
Good start.
It's okay. Yeah, and he needed an eye test, and everyone was like, "Well, why are you driving if your eyesight is bad?" So basically, he's making excuses.
No ways he said that.
Yeah, he did. And,
I didn't review about that.
Yeah, he did. And basically, all these like websites and things that he's been talking. Bear in mind, he made up the rules for lockdown.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
so many families and people who were in similar scenarios to him are really angry because they're like, "Are you joking?"
Like Boris said, defended him.
Yeah, Boris and other MPs did, which made him look
Boris
really
said,
silly.
"Oh, they're acting out the instinct of every father, but every father's not allowed to do that."
I'm finding that look, they're not even allowed or can't do that. Like, he doesn't realize the privilege he has to have a second home in Durham. Like, what was wrong? I don't understand what the problem was in the first place. And he says it's for his kid, or something like no one could look after him. But he didn't even ask or try to see if there was anyone else, or I don't know. It just seemed sketchy with all the excuses he was making. If he just said, "Oh yeah, it was for the sake of my kids," I'd have questioned it, but I would have been like, whatever. Like, what can you really say to that?
He made it worse for the eye test.
The eye test and random excuses. So it sounds more dodgy than it actually was. Plus, his wife said things that kind of counteracted his argument in the beginning.
But if they're sick, it makes sense.
Yeah, but if you think you're sick, you're meant to stay put. If we had another house in another city and we drove up there, everyone would be like, "What are you doing? Stay where you are."
That's true.
Like, why can't I don't understand why he couldn't look after them in the initial place that was there.
Police
and he went back to work. He went back to work.
The police must have looked the other way.
Dominic Cummings went also back to work after all this happened, almost immediately. Yeah. So if you know your family and that are ill, why are you, and you're so determined to look after them, why the hell are you going back to work to then infect everyone else?
True.
At Downing Street. We already have a crap government. We don't need them to be ill as well. Like, Jesus. Yeah, and basically people are annoyed, fuming.
People in and around government are annoyed. Junior minister quit. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I'm kind of liking the fact that people from all all parts of like the political spectrum from left to right are fuming with this.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid.
It's just the privilege of it, like a second home, and he went to some castle. I
get Boris defending him to some extent, but you got to say the other argument. You got to be like, okay,
you've got to acknowledge it doesn't make like. I'm sorry, like we all know that this is sketch and. Like, it's sketchy and suspect. Why is he making...
it's a mistake? Or
no, he's making loads of excuses over it. He's making excuses over it. It's not a mistake. He literally was the one who compiled the rules for the lockdown.
Yeah. It's not... But when you say sketchy, you make it sound like it's a bit of a conspiracy.
There have been people who have been fined, charged, or whatever for breaking lockdown rules.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, why is he the exception?
It is a bit of a conspiracy in terms of like...
It's just
people
sketchy.
looking the other way because they're government ministers.
If you're saying it for your kid, okay, but like, let's be real. No one's getting angry for no reason.
Did you see the tweet from civil service?
Who?
Yeah, some geezer from the civil service in the Twitter account made a Twitter thing saying, "Oh, imagine working for these like I'm paraphrasing. Can't imagine working for these like
twisted people or something,
twisted little lies and
or
stuff."
Something. Yeah.
And then it got deleted. The tweet.
So
he
people
sacrificed his job.
But you know, there was a news presenter, I think it was Newsnight or whatever, Emily Matliss. She's been fired because basically she was saying what was going on. And they were saying she was being too left-wing.
Oh, piss off.
And, But it's really ironic because there's people
not
like
about
Piers
left-wing,
Morgan and all these male news presenters who in the past have said some crazy shit, borderline offensive, and they haven't been fired or sacked over it. And this woman is just commenting on the reality.
Do you know why? Because this woman's not as powerful as these other men. That's why.
Which is
sad reality.
It's just that there's biases. There's conservative
Was
biases.
this woman powerful?
They were saying
was
she was left.
Just an old person?
She's no different to any other news presenter, in my opinion.
Well,
she's a good one.
Hierarchy, there is a hierarchy.
I mean, there is, but I think she'd have more influence than Piers Morgan, for instance. Well, even Piers Morgan, he's now all of a sudden turned a fucking new leaf, and he's been starting actually. The things he's been saying recently are a little... I mean, it doesn't excuse the nonsense he said before, but he's kind of realised, like, this government is a joke. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes he does say things to get in people's favour again.
Yeah, but I don't like stuff like that as well. I don't... I'm not saying I like the guy. I don't forget.
No, some things I agree with.
There's one thing to say, people change, but I don't forget. We don't forget.
Forgive and forget.
You can't forget. Why would you forget?
Forgive and forget. That's the moral of life.
I forgive if it's minor, but why should I? I don't owe elitists or racists my sympathy or my forget. I don't owe them that.
Well, the fact that people in and around government, like the junior minister and the civil service guy, so civil service guy is probably just a random Twitter admin.
And the Emily Maitlis woman.
The fact that it just shows that there is a lot of even people within government are just like feeling like this is just not the way to go in terms of response.
You can tell that
the
the government has made a mess of it because we are the second most infected. We have probably the highest death rate now.
I think it feels more... After 2 weeks ago, it feels more stable than it is now.
Now it feels awful. And with the news going on globally, in America as well, with racism, like we know what happened to George Floyd. We all saw it. We saw the... I'm not gonna lie. I saw a picture of it first, and I literally couldn't look at it. And there's videos of it circulating, and I couldn't even look. It was brutal, man. It was just pure evil. Just that's all I can say. Like it's racist evil.
He got suffocated.
Yep, on purpose. And they kept telling him to stand up or something, but he had. I don't even want to describe it. We all know, like he had his on his knee, like. And there was other police officers holding his body down or something.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just systematic.
Yeah, they need to be charged with murder. It's systematic racism.
Yeah.
And it's beyond police brutality. It's just murder. It's racism and murder. It's not the only
time. It's commonplace.
And I was noticing that a lot of people in the UK online were saying that it's not as bad here.
Yeah, racism, but I saw people saying, imagine if UK police had firearms.
Yeah, I've said that. Imagine, I don't think it would be that different if UK police
and it's still
had
bad,
weaponry.
just because there's no guns doesn't mean it's all good. You know what
I mean? And we see loads of...
it's better.
Stop and search is still a big thing, you know that? Like, so many black and brown people have literally been stopped and searched. And the people in prison, the people that are suffering this, there's a big disproportion. Even people dying of corona, it's been disproportionately black and minority ethnic people.
Why is that then? Why is the white people more...
Well, it's because of the way the system is.
And they're more poor.
No, it's not even... Well, not necessarily that. That could be a factor, but it's not even that. It's just the way that society has put them to the front lines.
Yeah.
We've got EU migrant workers, doctors that are black and minority ethnic, that are... Some of them in high positions, some of them in low positions. It doesn't even matter. But they're facing the brunt of this. You know what I mean? I'm not saying white people aren't, but they're facing the brunt of it.
The white people?
White people are facing the brunt of corona. Everyone's facing the brunt of corona is my point.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's also still disproportionate. And in America, it's on an even bigger scale. There's so many neighborhoods that aren't white that are literally being treated like trash. There's areas like in Michigan. What was it? Flint? There's still no fresh water there. There's still brutality, murder, racism. Water. Yeah. There's literally Flint, Michigan.
That's another problem.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot.
How do you stop this? How do you start to get rid of this problem? You think? I know you're not
we need
expert.
to get white people to recognize their bullshit. Stop being in denial or guilty.
Would you say getting rid of guns would help?
Accept that white racism against white people doesn't exist.
This was different.
Calling someone a Karen isn't even a slur. It's being nice, if anything. It's being nice.
Oh.
We saw what happened with that woman who called on. Called the police and tried to basically say that a black person was threatening her and threatening her life, knowing that what the police are like in that country.
Yeah, you take advantage of the system.
Yeah.
And you just go against
people know. And when white people are silent, because they're always like, why should I comment or what? Or they're too scared to. I'm like, what are you scared of? What are you thinking that you're gonna say that's so bad? Like, what is it? It makes white people. There's loads of people that I know, that I don't really know, but I know of, seen influencers. They don't want to involve themselves because they don't want to seem like they're saying something controversial. Well, that's pathetic. What is so controversial in your words that you can't talk about it?
Everything's controversial. No, everything's political.
I don't like.
So the celebrities are scared, whether you like it or not. The celebrities are scared because they don't want to ruin their reputation.
Yeah, because they also know that they benefit. A lot of them benefit from black culture, brown culture, from profiting off it, and they like their music and they like their culture and they like their hairstyles and la 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 and their looks, but they don't like it when it comes to the realities of the violence, trauma, deaths, murder, racism, oppression.
Just because they don't want to involve themselves doesn't necessarily mean they don't like. They find it fine.
No. But the fact that you're not involved, good or bad, I'm not saying that some of these people aren't racist. They're good people. But why are you so scared? Why is it so hard for you to say this is wrong and to tell your family and friends who they probably know are problematic?
Good people need to step up as well.
Yeah, staying silent just is consolidating the bullshit that's already going on. It's pathetic, and I'm angry. I'm done. I don't need to be nice. I don't need to do it. I don't need to.
There are some celebrities stepping up, but there's mostly the black celebrities. Like John Boyega. Did you see his tweet?
He was brilliant.
Star Wars actor.
The London came out. The Londoner Within came out.
I'm sorry, but he was just speaking facts from the heart. He was saying, white people. He was talking about white people against other people, but he wasn't saying. But people started twisting and saying, you're focusing on all white people are evil. Like, why? You're trying to find offense in it because you find it offensive because you're racist. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and it's sad that from all of that, but bear in mind, this is obviously after commenting after a black man's murder.
Yeah.
George Floyd, his murder.
After
that, they had the nerve to bring it about them, make it about them, and say that make it themselves victim. I've noticed with
that's
white
why
people,
celebrities don't want to say anything because they're gonna twist it on people.
No, but because racism is becoming more prevalent, you can see it now. Unfortunately, we can see it.
They filmed it as well. They filmed the death.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate and fortunate. Like, we need people to see it, but then at the same time, it's unfortunate that it's becoming like some sort of trauma pornography where people are just reveling in this stuff, and they're not really doing anything about it. It's becoming a trend, a phase, or something to just talk about rather than actually solve. It is. I'm not even lying.
At least it's bringing these things to the limelight.
It is, but at the same time, there's other consequences that follow with that.
Some people are just lazy.
No, some people are lazy, ignorant, and they think because they've never experienced racism. There's a lot of people in the UK who aren't even white, who probably haven't experienced racism, but they think because of their personal experiences that it doesn't exist. It exists. It happens as many ever. You can look online, you can talk to people, get your head out of the sand.
Some people just want to live blissfully, you get me?
I know that, but why? Like, why is it okay for you to live blissfully while everyone else knowing that there's bullshit going on? Yeah. I'm not asking you to, I'm not even asking the most of it. All I'm not asking you is to acknowledge it and to spread the word. And the more you spread the word, the more you change people's mindsets, the more people will vote, the more people will get involved in things, and for the right reasons, rather than for selfish reasons. I still get angry when people vote. They initially think about themselves, and I think that's important. But you need to think about the people around you when you vote. Like, who are you voting for? Are you voting for yourself, the people you represent,
what's
your
more
country?
Important, yourself or everyone else?
I think myself is important. I obviously will consider that when I vote or when I say whatever.
What do you mean consider
I do it for the sake of
or bettering the society we live in.
I do it for... I'm not doing it just for me. You're doing it to let people know. I want to let my friends... I don't want my friends living in ignorance. I don't want my family living in ignorance.
That's what I was going to say. The better society you live in. It's not just you benefiting. It's everyone else, your friends, your family as
well. And we
well.
forget that racism against people of colour is prevalent. But there's also internal racisms within our own, cultures that are making it worse. That stems from the initial racism to begin with. There's colorism. Dark-skinned Asians, dark-skinned black people are treated completely different in comparison to light-skinned. You know what Mum said? I was like, Mum, has anyone ever been racist to you? Because she has an accent, but she doesn't really look Asian. Okay. And she went, no. I was like, really? She was like, not really. She said the odd comment, but nothing was ever malicious or, And I was like, and we know that Dad absolutely has experienced racism. He's
whereabouts, you think?
In Russia, in the UK, he absolutely has.
Is he more in UK than more in Russia? Or
I don't know. I think it's probably he's been in England more, so I don't know. But the thing is, my dad is so intimidating. Who has the nerve,
he's
the gall?
To me. Yeah,
he's intimidating to us. Bless him. Even now, we love him. But Yeah, but he's experienced racism. Could you imagine that? My mum and dad have known each other. They've been together most of their lives. They've lived essentially together for, like, I mean, obviously they got married. Before they got married, they didn't know each other,
This
really.
is the
But
Afghan answer.
after they got married,
Yeah.
you know, like, they lived the majority of their life together.
That's true.
And the fact that my dad experienced more in comparison to my mum, what is the
That is
difference?
weird.
My dad
That is weird.
is a brown man, and
The
he's...
paler you are, the more...
It is.
the
There's
less
a privilege.
likely.
It is less likely. It's a privilege. There's a lot of people who are mixed race and look completely white. There's a lot of people who are mixed race who look completely not white. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of bullshit.
I know you've experienced racism
You know,
as well.
I
And
have.
You've outpoured in Instagram, but
I
I don't want
was
you to go
just
too deep
so
into
mad.
it.
I don't want to go into it. I've just said my piece.
I was reading it in the night. I was like, oh shit.
I love you.
I was-
Yon, yon, yon.
I was like, oh my god. No, because I didn't know this. Obviously, you don't have to speak at everything you did in secondary school,
Yeah.
because I was a kid back then before.
Yeah.
But
That's why I was
it's
really
pretty
worried.
eye-opening
Yeah.
to hear your stories
That's
about
why I was so worried for when...
that. Don't tear up.
No, when you... I'm not tearing up. I'm just trying not to laugh. But
Okay, yeah.
it's just awkward. I was really worried for you going in school because I was like, oh my god, if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
experienced that, what the hell is going to happen? So I remember scaremongering you, like just to make it worse than it actually was. I was like, people might be like this, people like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But thankfully, by the time
It's,
you went
it's
to
getting
school, it
better.
changed.
It was getting better.
I don't. Did
Our
you
year
experience?
Our year group was getting better.
Yeah. Well, did
But-
you experience anything?
There was obviously odd comments, yeah, but I didn't hang around with the sort of people who would do that.
Yeah.
And even if they did do that, they would say it's a joke. Said we.
It's
actually
always
love
a
you.
joke.
But
Yeah.
I know it's bad because it's
Yeah.
just because of society.
They don't realise that, like, why is it funny? Is it funny because... That's what I always find problematic with young kids. Because, like, it's a joke. That's kids are kids. But it's like, why is it funny? Why is a race joke funny? I don't get where the joke is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But obviously,
When someone
I'm
talks
grateful.
about their own race and makes... Like, if I made a joke about Afghan people, it's funny because the irony is I'm Afghan. You know, that's what makes sense. And for anyone else who isn't white, who talks about their cultures and problems in their own communities, when they bring it up, they have the right to make a joke because they're the ones who come from that, you know, place.
That's true.
Sometimes it backfires and becomes kind of offensive, even though the irony is
the
they are
intention,
from that.
the intention is
Yeah,
really funny.
but like we need to make sure that there is a difference between someone who isn't white saying that. Like a lot of the things that was said back then or as a kid, you think it's or as a kid you just don't realize it. But it's also like, where does this white kid get all this bullshit from?
But I do think your secondary school experience was way worse than I
It was
thought.
worse. That was minor. That was I literally mentioned. I was like, what I experienced was actually minor.
That's insane.
That was minor. That was no. Pete, there's way worse
It's
cases
good that
in the
my
UK.
case improved, but it
Yeah.
shows the progression in terms of like
Yeah.
the school,
It was-
the
it
my
was-
school specifically.
It was really
secondary school.
weird. Like I remember because I also think race is to do with like appearance.
But also, I was very shocked about your experience. I know some cases I was like, oh, I can see that. I've seen people.
Yeah, I
talk
hid it
about that.
well.
You did hide it well, but you didn't have to. And I like you said that on Instagram. That's very brave for you to say that on social media. Obviously, I don't want to go too much into it.
Yeah,
But obviously, it's just
alright,
hard to talk
it's
about
just-
experiences.
it is hard. I'm over it now because it's
And
been so many years. But
Whether you're not a celebrity or are a celebrity. And the fact that people are saying, oh, John Boyega is risking his career for
he
saying this
is
video.
though. He
And
is.
I
That's
saw
the
a
sad
good
thing.
tweet.
Can you believe he's risking? Like,
And the tweet, it
can you
says,
believe that's
oh,
a
the fact
risk?
the fact that he's risking it shows how bad the system is.
Yeah, the fact that it's even called a risk is bad. Like, why is it a risk? I don't understand the risk of a black person defending black people. I don't
It's
understand
a risk
that.
in terms of
I don't understand
in
that. And
terms of
condemning racists.
brands don't want to
Why?
be associated
Yeah.
with political
He's being-
agendas,
yeah.
and also some of these
Can you believe-
organizations
yeah.
are racist themselves. So
I
it's
don't
one of
understand
them
how
too.
condemning and telling racists to fuck off is somehow on par with saying that people are racist or be, like white people are getting too butthurt and too guilty. Stop making it about yourselves. Accept
Obviously,
what
it's
your
not
past
just
has
white
done.
people being racist, but he was talking about them.
It's not just
specifically.
white people. There's people
he
who
was just
are
talking about-
non-white
He was just
who are
talking about.
also
He was just talking about the
into-
white people on black people racism. Just because he's talking about that doesn't mean he supports any other type of racism. You get me?
No, I know that.
No,
I'm
but that's
just
what some people
saying.
are saying.
But he's an
Talk
idiot.
about reverse racism.
There's
What
no
are you on
such
about?
thing. There's
What are
no
you on
such
about?
thing as reverse racism. How can you reverse racism?
Racism is racism. It's
To reverse racism is to imply ownership of regular racism that white people have.
Exactly.
And reversing it. What is the reverse of racism? I think it's no racism. is that
Genius.
I'm just saying.
Only
I
an
don't
Afghan
understand what
answer.
this means.
Thank you.
Reverse racism. Fuck off.
Obviously,
Get
hopefully
out.
that's a minority.
Shut
saying
up.
That. It's
You are in denial. You are trying to act
And,
guilty.
wow,
You are guilty in denial, and you're butthurt
And I like-
because you can't. I feel like it's literally white people can't relate. That's what I think it is because they haven't experienced
hard.
it, and they haven't. You know, like at the end of the day, like what
But
I said.
I appreciate the
what
people.
said
I
about
appreciate the people who still try and stand
like
up.
what my experience is
Appreciate
worse. For some people, it seems horrific. To me, it was actually minor in the Like it wasn't minor, but at the same time, it was. There's been way worse cases. Way worse cases.
Yeah.
But I still had friends. I still, I wasn't
Yeah.
a loser. I was
That's
cool.
what I thought.
I
was shocked by the story.
was not a
I was
loser,
like,
right?
you're a happy kid. I thought you had friends
I
in
was.
parkour. You
I
were.
did.
But
I
also,
did.
Also, there's an
There's a
underbelly.
there
there's
is
a dark
an
underbelly in loads of places, institutions, sports,
Yeah.
schools that has this sort of stuff. Fortunately,
Yeah.
you gotta
and
accept
I'm like,
it. You can't
could
just accept it. You gotta try and change it.
So I'm like, imagine if I was a kid who just came fresh here with an accent. Maybe I wasn't.
It would have been even
really,
worse.
Maybe I wasn't pale. I'm actually pale. That's the hilarious irony. I'm not even that brown. Sid, you are way darker than me. You are a few shades. You are a brown
Exactly.
man.
So it's sad that to think that maybe if you were a bit shades darker, things would have been even
No,
worse.
it's just like I don't even know. Like it was weird. It was like a lot of the people even said racist things or problematic things. I bet they wouldn't even think like that, or probably don't even remember that they said that.
They don't want to think like
But it's the fact that the ignorance of it all.
And
That
let's hope their
for the
ignorance
sake
is-
of a joke, you think that's okay.
People want to be popular.
That kids think kids think that's okay. You telling me half of those people grow up and completely just brush it off?
No,
We've seen celebrities.
hopefully they've tried to improve,
people
hopefully,
been
but-
exposed for things they've said in the past, whether it's racist, homophobic. We've all said bullshit. I'm not even saying I'm a nice person. I could be going to hell for all you know. But like, do not
Okay.
do not judge
It's got
me
debate off,
or
yeah.
do not moan at me or judge me or think I'm bad based on where I'm from. On being Asian, on being Afghan. Said we're Afghan. We stand with all minorities, whether they be black or Asian. We've got to stand with all our minorities, with all our immigrants, refugees.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different for you, born here, right?
Yeah.
My boy is from England.
No, it's also good to stand with immigrants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree. But also, you have to change the minds of people who are not so.
Also, it's not even just changing the minds.
Educate.
Like, dismantle it, break the system,
But it's hard.
make something
You can't.
new. It's so easy to say it's hard, but like no
It's the
change
people
has
at
ever
the top.
happened.
It all trickles down from the top. It does.
Literally, segregation, racism, like violence against black people or brown
True, that
people
can be
did
sorted
not end until some sort of drastic action happened.
Yeah, come on.
I'm sorry, it hasn't. It's not been a discussion and it's all okay now. No, and they don't realize that the damage they're doing. They're ruining the mindsets of brown people, black people, POCs, people of color, minority ethnic. They're ruining their mindset.
They need to stop being harsh with
There's
punishment.
people who are self-hating. That exists. Colorism, the preference of lighter people of color in comparison to darker people of color.
In promotions,
In film, in
posters,
Bollywood, I love Bollywood.
in models.
But all the beautiful women are not they're all pale. But the whole of India is not pale. Like there's so many different hair colors, skin tones, that aren't shown, that aren't exposed. I'm pretty sure it's in every culture, every race. There's probably light skin preferences in black culture as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not that well versed in it, but I'm pretty sure it exists. We're not stupid. South America, there's black and white people. There's all sorts. There's brown.
Yeah.
There's so many. But all I'm seeing is the cute white South American girls, being platformed in comparison.
Yeah, well, at least we're seeing a lot of social media reaction with the George Floyd thing. I haven't seen this quite before.
Yeah, but it's also just angering. It's triggering, man. Imagine being a black person seeing that. Like, we're angry, and we're not even black. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
No, but
not
it's just human
funny.
nature, isn't it? It's just, you want the human race to be better. Like, let's be honest. Everyone should strive to do that, you get me?
Everyone should strive to do that. Wait, what's your point? To what?
Like, as in, like, everyone, you should be triggered. Everyone should be triggered.
We should be triggered, yeah.
White people, black, it doesn't matter what race you are.
I know, but it's more so, my point.
More
It's
so?
Yeah.
People need to be more triggered.
Everyone should be triggered.
As in,
but
like,
it
when we
makes
say triggered,
sense.
channel that anger
Angry.
into actually changing
Yeah,
something.
but then
Political
also,
voice.
I don't blame people who... I can't help but not blame... Like, I can't help it if some people of colour want to fight violence with violence. Can you blame them? Can you really blame them?
Yeah, but is
Can you
that
blame
going to
them?
solve anything, though?
Violence never solves anything, but in cases, like, I'm not going to sit there like a wuss and allow things to happen. Like, I'm tired of that. We're not children. We're not... Stop it. I'm sick of it. There's people who stay silent and stay neutral, in my personal opinion, are sometimes more problematic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like, pick a side, man.
Peaceful protests are not working.
Peaceful protests?
Someone got shot. Someone died.
Why was
from
that?
protesting for George Floyd.
Yeah.
But
and
I
when
don't
white
know,
people
I
were
don't know the
protest-
circumstances
yeah,
around it.
White people, they were also tear gassed and literally treated like shit, hosed down, all sorts. When white people with literal AK-47 guns, weaponry, you know what kind of people they are who were protesting saying they wanted the lockdown to end. Not one of them was tear gassed, not one of them, and they were spitting on the police, throwing things. They were doing the same thing, and nothing happened to them because they were white. Could you imagine that? White men in balaclavas and weapons and guns standing and protesting. And they say when brown people do that and black people do the same thing, that's terrorism. So why is that not terrorism? It is terrorism. How are you holding weaponry and covering your face?
The media,
and
the media's wording can be a bit
You can't make it one-sided.
Police
Why is it
brutality.
always associated with Asians or people who aren't white?
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Someone
out.
Said,
I'm not even going to be nice.
Someone said police brutality, but it's just racism now. It's murder. As well.
It's brutality. It's murder.
Because they make it sound like it's almost like, the police have gone off the rails for once.
Like the KKK still exists.
No, they haven't. It happens a lot.
The KKK still exists in America. They've done plenty of documentaries in the last decade. Yeah. Recently, they had way more momentum back in the day for obvious reasons. They still do. They still make documents about them. There's still films about them. They're still there. And you telling me these people don't have jobs? These KKK people don't have jobs? That they don't work in police? That they might not even work in law? You telling me they all have shit jobs and they're like some sort of hillbilly dude? No. Yeah. A lot of them have normal jobs. They are in positions of power. Positions of power. There's people like that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Do you not think because someone might be a lawyer or a doctor or has a high position in life that they are inherently good? They can still be racist. They can still be homophobic. They can still be evil. Yeah. You know?
It doesn't matter what job you have. You need to be a good person.
You don't even need to go to school at all to be a good person or to be educated. Education is one thing.
It's a different thing.
There's a different thing. I've been to school. Loads of people around me have been to school. But we've all learnt differently. We're all still different people.
Yeah. Well said.
And also, some education systems are trash. Trash.
Yeah.
I'm pissed, can you tell?
No, it was good.
I'm angry.
It's good, you're channeling into
Fuming.
something, telling people what you're thinking, and I think
it hurts my head. It hurts my head when I think
maybe
about it.
Maybe this can spark a good conversation in the comments, or maybe if you text me my Instagram page, that'll be fine. But no, seriously.
I'm angry.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It's also just...
Do you think Dominic Cummings should resign?
Dominic Cummings should have resigned. Like, I don't know why there's something
Boris,
on Twitter.
Boris and him are probably made.
He should have resigned. Yes. He would still be in politics. He'd be an MP or something. I don't know. He'd still have a job, but he should have resigned. Yeah. There's been MPs who have resigned for far less, who have been judged for far less. Diane Abbott, an MP, got judged for having a mojito on a tube or on a train or something.
Who?
An MP. She's a black MP, and she's often got berated, to be honest, for no reason, literally. To be honest, I think it was that racism. There's no other excuse. Yeah, but the media are controlled by conservatives and those racist elites. It's at the top. It's not even just the media, like, at this point.
It trickles down from the top.
Yeah, but, like, the media is one thing. Like, it comes from all corners, but those conservative media scum have said loads of bullshit, and they're controlled by the government. They're controlled by conservative, rich millionaires, billionaires. Majority. I'm not saying all of them, but majority of them are. Yeah. And we need to accept that, and we need to stop. We need neutrality in these things as well. Like, media needs to just talk about facts. I can't believe it's legal to just for MPs to lie. Like, if you're in politics, you should not be allowed to lie.
Oh, you think there should be, like, punishment?
Like, you should be literally, like, off your position. With Dominic Cummings, there's been proven lies. There has been proof, and the government knows it. They're just defending him because they're in a crisis and they want everyone that they can get. Yeah. It's out of selfishness is what it is, because they know they're absolutely fine. Boris has recovered from corona. A lot of those MPs have recovered from corona. Yeah. They're privileged enough to have the to
doctors,
be in the
nurses
care.
Help them as well.
Doctors are choosing to give ventilators, choosing who to let live, because there's a shortage of them. You know what I mean? There's no shortage for Boris and his leaders. There's no shortage for rich people. It hurts my head that I have to say this, but people need to know. You can get tired of the news. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts my feelings. Oh, I don't want to see it anymore. You need to see it. Shut up. You need to see it.
Just talk to everyone, not me.
Yeah, I am. You need to shut up and see it. Shut the fuck up and see the world.
And if you want to...
And be lucky. Do you know what Boba John said, my granddad?
Yeah.
The best thing I think he ever said is stop looking up. Stop looking at these celebrities or rich people who have amazing lives and think that you're at the bottom end of the scale. Yeah. Look down. Look down and see who's suffering below you.
Yeah.
There are migrants, people dying, people living in slums, in poverty. Count your blessings. We are thankfully at home. We have a home and a lovely garden that we can go to.
I hope you guys are safe.
You know,
as well.
we have amazing parents.
Yeah.
You know, we are safe.
Look
For
down,
what
but
we
also
so
try to help
far,
those down as well.
You
Try
know,
to help them as well.
we need to help people as much as
Don't-
we can.
don't
Do
go
as you might.
again.
I'm not asking you
Don't
to
go
put-
against them for the sake of a Twitter argument so you can get likes.
I don't care. It's not even about that. People
So,
genuinely.
obviously, that's all the
This
minor
world is
faction of it.
crazy. You're gonna meet people that aren't gonna like you. People are gonna be mean. People are gonna.
Yeah.
There are psychos, but if they're gonna be mean, yeah, let it be about your character, not about how you look, where you're from, your skin color, your culture, your background, your religion. I'll be damned.
Very good.
Extremism does not need my sympathy. KKK does not need my sympathy. Extreme racism does not need my sympathy. Elitists, rich elitists, people who stay silent, do not need my sympathy.
Dominic Cummings doesn't need.
He does not need my sympathy. I don't. Why should I sympathise with Dominic Cummings? What? And what grounds? He has another home, and he went to some castle, and he had the privilege to drive around there, where
that's too
people were
many.
stuck at home.
Exactly.
There's been rises in domestic abuse. You know that. Some people are literally in
Stuck in
Corona
their
time
homes, yeah.
stuck with people they don't want to be with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people who are literally not able to say goodbye to their families because they can't, because of Corona. They have to be separated.
Exactly. Yeah.
They can't see their kid's grave or their partner's grave or their family member's grave or their friend's
Yeah,
grave.
so why should the government look? The
So
other
why
way,
should I look the other
government
way?
Government look the other way.
He
for certain
had
people.
absolutely. If it was so bad, and if he genuinely was concerned about his son, I'm pretty sure he would have said to the Prime Minister or to everyone, you know, this situation's happened, or made exceptions, or they're in the government. They could have literally said, in the exceptional circumstances with your children or la la la, it can be allowed. Like either enforce lockdown properly and stop being so vague,
Yeah, it's very hypocritical.
you know, or loosen it.
Yeah.
Either way,
It's
there's going to
confusing.
be trouble. But you need to pick one. The vagueness of our our government and our country is annoying me. It's angering me. I'm tired.
You're trying to be too PC.
It is.
You're
It's
trying,
like,
you're
no,
trying
no,
to
no.
appeal to everyone, but you can't.
Stop
do
it.
that.
Say what you think, man. I want to see who chats shit, and I want to see who chats right. You know what I mean?
In your opinion, yeah.
I need to see it. I need to see it.
Your opinion's usually.
Hiding. I feel like people who are hiding things or they're too scared is because it's either based on a trauma or it's based on the fact that they're scared of saying something wrong. Because they're probably thinking something wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Or they
Why are
wanna
you
save their
scared
own
to comment? What are you
They
scared
want to
of?
save their own skin as well. Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between trauma and being, you know, victimized. We know what that's like. That's different. And even then, in those circumstances, people still make attempts in those situations to get themselves out of it or to speak up. And yes, they're often bashed down, you know, to a point of no return. But why in this day and age? Like, are we allowed? Like, why? We're already in a pandemic and racism is still rife. Can you believe in a pandemic, people are getting tear gassed and all sorts? People getting killed. People getting treated like shit.
Yeah.
There's no humanity. Genuinely,
Racism is-
this world is
racism's
selfish.
probably a bigger killer.
Everyone cares about themselves.
Racism is probably a bigger killer than
Everyone
coronavirus.
cares about themselves, and it is important to care about yourselves. But why are you caring about yourself? Like, for what aim? Like, for me, I think for my family, at least for my family, for friends. Like, you've got to think out of it. Like, stop. Like, as great as we think we are, as amazing as we think we are
We're
at
alright.
times.
We're alright.
No, I'm just saying personally. Like, you do. Everyone has a selfish impulse. I do. Everyone does. That is a fact. But like, to what end?
Yeah.
To what end? Like, I just don't want to die thinking that I didn't help someone or didn't do anything remotely
Change
good.
the world a bit.
Do you know what
Just
I mean?
by a bit. Help the change
Not
the
even
world.
by a bit,
Yeah,
as much as you can.
As a collective
I think we
as
should
well.
change it by a lot, but whatever. No one thinks like me. Whatever. You know?
Yeah. Like,
It's ugh,
don't worry about it. I think you said your piece.
Yeah. Should we go to something lighter?
Yeah, Peaky Blinders is lighter to
Ah!
some extent.
Ha!
Even though it's talking about fascism.
La, 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 la,
Yeah,
la.
I just finished Peaky Blinders.
You finished it with
It's-
Mom. Even Dad ended up joining.
It's
you.
escalating. Every season just gets better.
You really
and better.
liked
It
it?
teaches you about history as well.
Every time I come in, some dramatic thing or
Well,
pornographic
it's
thing.
teaching you about
It's just
historical. Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah,
that's
it's very. I like that it's about Birmingham.
And now
as well.
speaking, I don't want to talk about racism again, but it has the fascist leader. You know,
Does
what's
it?
his name? Oswald Mosley. Have you heard of him?
Ring the bell.
He was basically almost the British Hitler before Hitler was a thing. It's actually mental. Obviously, it's exaggerated to some extent in the drama, but it's him. He's a fascist leader. He tried to set up a British Union of fascists. Luckily, the government stopped that down because Churchill was actually somewhat white.
Churchill was a psycho though too. Did you know
Yeah,
that
obviously he's
Hitler?
not perfect, but-
Did you know? Fun fact. It's not fun fact. It's awful fact. Hitler got the idea for concentration camps against Jewish people because he saw what Churchill was doing to Kenyans in Africa. He had concentration camps.
Why for Kenyans? Why? What did they do for Kenyans?
What do you think? What do you think?
What did it?
The same thing that they were doing to the Jews, man.
They wanted to kill the Kenyans for no reason.
Yeah, they were colonizing and doing all sorts. They were literally
Obviously, people
subjecting them
inspired
to
by other
bullshit.
people. Yeah.
Look, Churchill was
Churchill
was a conservative.
And the way you see,
Churchill was a conservative.
Yeah,
Can I just say that?
The way you see the
he was not racially.
the way
He said a lot of racist
the way the fascist
shit
leader,
too.
the fascist politician Oswald Mosley was speaking in Peaky Blinders. He was speaking a lot like
And you
Hitler.
can say-
like the way his
yeah.
movements were trying to persuade
And
people.
you can say-
he had the
yeah.
salute and everything.
Yeah.
Pavis Judah,
And you
which
can
means get rid
say
of Jews.
you can say people were a bit racist back then. People were awful back then. Yeah, but like they didn't have to be. They did not have to be.
Okay.
They still would have been wealthy. But you know what? They became more wealthy off the exploitation, off the suffering, off slavery, colonizing, all sorts of bullshit. Angers me. Ugh. But yes, sorry, Peaky Blinders.
No, it's gone. It's become a political show now. It's went from being gangsters, but to gangsters being involved in politics.
Wow. Okay. How many seasons were there?
5, and the
Wow.
6th one.
You binged them. They were all an hour long.
I know, yeah, it's very long, but it's very good. You
How does
watch
it feel now? It's all gone.
It's just, it feels weird now. Me and my mom will be like, oh, let's watch
Something
something.
new.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't watch it now. But it's very good. It's very good.
What happened? Did the main guy die in the end?
No, I don't want to spoil it.
Oh,
But, yeah.
right.
But he is. It's very psychologically damaging to be part of that society in terms of him trying to be a gangster and him coming
In
out.
Birmingham.
He's very damaged after the war in France, basically 1914, the First
Yeah.
World War. He's like his gangsters. Him being a gangster is his way of like being in the war again. You get me? Like he can't have a holiday because to him the holiday is the criminal shit. You get me? And that makes him psychologically scarred.
Interesting.
For a lot.
Squad.
Cillian Murphy's a great actor. He's a great actor.
He is literally that guy from that Batman film.
But if I see him in
Scarecrow.
Batman Begins, I'll be like, do a Birmingham accent. Don't do it. Why are you doing an American accent?
Birmingham
Evo is an Irish actor, but yeah.
Is he actually Irish? Okay.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Great.
Very good.
It's absolutely fantastic.
It's gonna be weird seeing him in American movies if he's
Or any other. No, but we've heard. I saw him speak in an American accent for the Batman thing.
Yeah,
Where you saw him before then.
Well, I haven't watched that film.
What was his name? Scarecrow's actual name? I don't remember.
God, actually, I should know this comic book expert.
I know.
Oh shit! Oh, don't do this to me! Don't do that.
What a
You just
nerd.
test me.
What a fail.
The Scarecrow is
All right, Millhouse. Anyway.
They should do Scarecrow in the new movies. They could do like a Doctor
Said
Strange
your
type
lips,
thing.
Your lips are dry. Get the Vaseline.
It's so warm today.
It's so warm. The weather has been amazing. The only good thing in this world. Although you can link that to climate change
Very
and make
bleak
that
outlook.
depressing too. But no, the weather in the UK has been phenomenal.
Jonathan Crane. That's the Scarecrow's name.
Wow, you got there in
I
the
might have
end.
bars as well. Jonathan Crane.
Yeah. The weather's been amazing. We've been our garden, all the roses all the roses have grown. Sorry, I just burped.
I feel like we've talked for ages, but it's only 40 minutes. For God's sake, please!
No, but did you not remember doing speaking and listening at school? And you'd have to stand up and say something for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Like,
For the
it
English
felt
GCSE.
so long. Yeah. It felt so
Or
long.
any presentation.
Yeah, it feels so long
Yeah, no,
because
it
you're
does.
standing up there just speaking.
You don't
and
want it to
speaking.
end. You want it to end. That's why. It's
There's some podcasts that are like an hour long though. That's mental. Like I think half an hour or 40 minutes that we do is a lot. So you clearly need to shower or something. You'd like get. No, I know.
showered the other day. What do you
I
mean?
know. I mean like a cold shower just to cool off.
Don't call me smelly for everyone.
I'm not calling you smelly. I'm saying just to put cold water on you or something.
True. You have to shower more often
Right.
if it's hot weather.
Shall we go?
Do you want to go?
Yeah. What else do you want to say?
Well, I want to get to 40 minutes first.
Okay. Well, it's literally in 2
I
minutes.
appreciate you guys. If you made it to this video,
If you
go on my
made it
YouTube
this
channel,
far-
Top Man Sid. Like,
If
and
anyone
subscribe
has
for
any
more
comments
gaming.
on what's going on in the world,
comments
or
for the
dares
podcast
to
and-
question me, I mean,
Yeah,
you
do
can
that
if
question,
you
'cause
want.
Otherwise,
I mean, you can.
The more questions, the better. We could do a
Yeah,
Q&A
I
style
think
thing.
conversations. I think especially for young people. I mean, your friends are watching this, right?
Yeah.
I know we talk lots of nonsense on here and just useless information,
No,
but
it's good. I think the topics.
I think we need to educate.
The topic list I gave you, it actually worked. You're right, Gazal. You want to be part of the topics? I'll give you. I don't have to ask you, Evan.
Yeah.
You let you know.
La,
We
la,
can
la,
both know
la,
what the
la,
topics
la,
are,
la,
like
la,
actual
la, la,
co-hosts
la, la.
in the podcast. So it's not just me asking you the question.
Right, I'm gonna go because I need to clean my room. Right, let's
Disgusting. You
go.
don't clean your room. Disgusting.
I mean, it's clean. It's just not vacuumed.
It's not that clean, is it?
Shut your mouth. I vacuumed your room today.
Did you?
Yesterday.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, you. Oh,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, Mum came in and she was like, "What is all this?"
I was in the shower. Thank you.
And I had to be like, I was like, "Mum, do you want to vacuum?" She's like, "Well, of course." And then I was like,
Thank you for cleaning my room. I didn't say
Alright.
thank you for that. So yeah,
"No, right, I'm off. You better
maybe something.
think about your privileges. Think about the bullshit in the world. Think about who you
We might do something
represent."
fun for episode 10. Maybe 2 guests
Yeah,
at the same
maybe.
time.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we should.
Maybe.
I think we should get Max and Jude.
Yeah.
Try and see that.
Oh, you think you're
I can't
speaking
be
my
a-
language?
yeah.
You're speaking my language. Yeah, I'll get in hold of them.
Yeah.
Text them as well.
I did do a quiz yesterday. Apparently, Mum said she could hear me from everyone in the street could hear me because I had my headphones in.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to be in my room. You had my laptop.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you tried to install Zoom
yeah,
on my computer.
yeah, but I didn't, and I just didn't want to leave. So
How was the quizzes with your mates?
everyone liked it. I made the quiz.
It's just good for lockdown.
It was good.
It's good knowledge as well, education.
Yeah,
So.
I might show you the quiz. It was quite fun.
Yeah, apparently
Alright.
you're good. You're actually good.
What's actually good?
You're winning the quizzes on that.
I won. No, I didn't win it. I just got like a really high score on one of them.
Okay.
No, I think I did win one of them. I'm not sure. No, I've done really badly on some of them as well.
It's more the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, okay, it's not that deep. It's just we're bored and we wanted to do a quiz.
You do loads of quizzes though.
Yeah, I learned to. That's a thing.
Loads of people do that to be fair, online as well.
Right, I'm off.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
See you guys next time.
Bye.